Learn how to create an action game in Unreal Engine 5 at unfgames.com. Whether you're designing the best combat system or looking to add some visual punch to your fights, you cannot miss adding some amazing fire trails to your combat animations. In this tutorial, I'll teach you how to create a AAA fire trail from scratch. We'll go over the theory of what makes a trail good, we'll create flashy and interactable materials and also fine-tune particle systems like trails and some really cool spark behaviors. After watching this tutorial, you will be able to create your own amazing looking trails. So what are you waiting for? Come join, it's going to be really fun. And welcome! So before we start, I have already downloaded this Paragon asset with an animation. You can download yours or use whatever you want. And also I am giving you these textures, and of course they're for free. They are unteachable. The link is in the description as always. You can just download them before you start the tutorial or whenever you want, as always. What we're gonna be doing is a material, maybe 1 or 2 effects, and I just noticed that I forgot to add the sparks, but we're gonna do them together a little bit later on. So let's start. Alright, let's open the content drawer, go on material, right click, material. This is gonna be named m_fire main trail, because we're probably gonna have a background trail, giving it a different kind of motion, most likely. So let's open it up. And I want this to be translucent, unlit, and also two-sided. I think this is okay for now. So in this material, we want to make the main shape first, so things don't get so confusing. Let's go on texture, and this is gonna be our main shape. We hold T and left click and bring it up, and we can plug it in, and yeah, we can see that here it's a little bit too close to the edge. We may need to fix that. We will see. So for now, this is the main shape for material. And we want to be able to distort this texture. So we've done it before, should be fairly easy. I want this noise speed to be the distortion. It seems like it could make an interesting effect. So we hold T, we bring it up. And as I told you before, we have plenty of ways to distort a texture. But since this one does not need to be completely accurate, we can do just the most simple one. So hold M, just pick one channel, and the higher the multiplication, the stronger the effect. Usually 1 is incredibly strong, so just go for 0.1 usually. And we want to hold A, and also add a texture coordinate. Alright, now we just plug it in here. And okay, we see it distorting, but we need to make it start moving. So hold P for a panner, connect it on the UVs, and let's say that on X this is gonna be -0.2, and you can kind of see it just moving around. Now this, I hope it's not useless, but I don't want this distortion to be on everywhere on the texture. So I would like to use a different mask and see if we can give it a little bit more interesting shape. Again, the swipes may be too fast, and this may be unnoticeable unless we are doing slow-mo shots, which will look amazing. But let's try and see how it looks. Otherwise, we can just scrap it and just stay with this one. So let's bring in this fire mask. Hold T and add it, and oh, I'm sorry, and we just add this to the UVs, and we do the exact same treatment here. So multiply by the red channel, just a 0.1 so it isn't too strong, and we add it to a texture coordinate and plug it on the UVs. So now, as you can see, the distortion is not everywhere. But again, this may be way too subtle, and to save up instructions, you may want to get rid of this one. But since we just want to make a good looking trail, I'm just gonna leave it. And maybe once we are done, we can see if this makes a whole lot of a difference or not. We shall see. Anyways, for now, I think this is fine. We can just leave this here. Okay, and I would like to multiply this texture by another to give it some kind of a different motion. So we should do that. I want to hold M and multiply. I want to bring in this noise. So T, we bring it in. I'm going to plug this here. All right, and let's make it pan too, in a different direction from this one though. So P again, we make it pan, and what, 0.3? Okay, that's gonna give it a little bit of color difference once we put in the colors later on, right? Darker areas, brighter areas, it's gonna be nice. Okay. Although maybe I would like this to be slightly brighter. Maybe this one a little bit brighter and this one a little bit darker. Let's just test and see how that looks. So this multiplication is fine. I want to hold M again, bring this one here, and I just want to say 0.3. And I want to add them again, so I'm going to be adding this one and this one. How does that look at the end? Yep, it's brighter, a little less difference. This is gonna be good. Remember that we are making a fire trail, so we want it to be pumping up with brightness and strong colors. It's gonna make more sense later. All right, now we have this kind of well, this can work as the opacity, right? And it's gonna look cool. This can also work as the refraction, but I would like to add some highlights here on top alongside with different colors, right? Of course that this is going to be modified on the particle system, but we can still set up some defined colors here so we can kind of know where we're going. Okay, so let's create the highlights right on top of these ones. I want to bring in this shape color, hold T, and actually I just want to copy this because we're going to be mimicking the same distortion technique. So okay, we plug it in, and actually, yeah, same noise, everything. How is this looking? Preview node, yeah, same thing, looks cool. Actually, we probably don't want this with this distortion having the same motion as the other one. So instead of negative, let's just make it a positive. And we can see how that effect looks once we join them together. All right, so we have this distortion going on here. Cool. Now we should multiply it. Or actually, we should add it on top, I believe. Yeah. But before we add this, actually, before we add it, let's just multiply this by a color and see how that looks. So hold M, let's hold 3, bring it in, and I want this to be emissive, so probably on red just a 3, this could be a 0.1, 0.9. Well, that's definitely not the color I was looking for. Yeah, probably something like this. Could be nice. Let's see. Okay, it's kinda there. Fine. Let's multiply this by our top hero, or we'll add it. And see if the highlights are working. And the highlights are fine. We just want to make them pan around a little bit so they are more noticeable and so the trail is more interesting, right? Especially in slow-mo. So 0.4, and yeah, this is gonna look cool. So mostly what we're doing here on top is the emissive. We're just making interesting colors and nice fades, And here on the bottom, you're just working on the opacity mostly. And just a little pause on this emissive. Let's just finish the opacity. Or well, for now, so something provisional. So at the end of this ad, we have the shape of these highlights. We have the shape of, well, this shape. Let's just go for the saturation. So it is black and white, or well, it's gonna be red in here, but it's just because it's just one channel, and just plug it on the opacity. And all right, that's sorta looking there, kinda. But we should make this starting part brighter, contrary to the latter part, right? So we can start multiplying that. Let's say this is saturation. I want to multiply it by this texture, this sword gradient, and just plug it on the opacity. How does that look? That's looking better. No more bright everywhere. That's pretty cool. So now we can see the edges of the trail, and we can work on more interesting colors now. We should have done that before. Okay, so for now, this is fine. Let's just continue working on the emissive now. What I want to do next is bring out a... Oh, I'm sorry. Derive LDR from HDR, or HDR from LDR. And our LDR input, I want it to be probably our desaturation is our LDR input. And the tint, I wanna have it from this complete mix that we've done. So how is that looking? Let's see. Oh, that sorta somewhat breaks it a little bit. Okay, that's interesting. But that happens because the multiplication that we're doing is just going over one. It's just way too much. So we probably need to clamp this a little bit. Let's just bring a clamp. Yeah, this multiplication here, even though it looks cool and we could work with something like that, it's just too much. Actually, this will look cool on a trail. But anyways, our LDR goes here. And okay, that is better. And we can see how this node is giving our trail some really cool colors. And now, well, we use this multiplication to try how it was looking on the small preview, but actually I think that we can multiply this too. Okay, that's pretty cool. A little bit too bright, perhaps. Perhaps way too bright. But we can take care of that after, as always. This is fine. Okay, let's continue. I would like to make the outer edges of this material be of a different color. So for that I need a mask, right? But we don't have the right mask for it, so we will have to use a color curve, I think. So I want to bring in this shape. Sorry, I just click on it and hold T, bring it up. And I want to bring in a color curve. So for that, first, here, new folder, name curve. So right click, we go, where was it? Just type curve. Oh, it's not in audio, I'm sorry. There. Oh my god. There we go. Now it typed herb. Oh my god. Okay. This is not my night, you know? Okay, there we go. We need a curve atlas and also a curve. So pick whatever you want first. Just curve atlas. So just gonna be naming this curve atlas. Main color. Probably not the best convention. And now again, curve. And this time I did it right. And just bringing in this curve here. and select a linear color. And this is curve color 01. Okay, I just named it like that. It's fine. So this main color is gonna contain the curve that we created here. So click on the plus and add it. It's curve color. Okay, so curve color like that. Nice. We exit. And now we can modify our color here. So, all right. I want this, or actually, we shouldn't modify it yet so you can see what is going on. We just want to click on apply just in case. Okay. And let's bring in a curve. Here, curve atlas row parameter. We can just say color curve. This is a parameter. And in here, atlas, we need to select our atlas, which is main color. And which is our curve? The only one, this one here. Perfect. Now we need to select a single channel here and plug it in. Okay, nice. And let's multiply this, or actually, sorry. I just want to add color on top of it. So here and here. If you preview it, we can see that, all right, so nothing is really happening. So if you haven't watched our video on curves, how is this working? So to put it in really simple terms, we have this curve from black to white, right? So whatever, or well, from 0 to 1. And whatever is 0 is completely black. Whatever is 1 is completely white. And in between is going to be around here, okay? So if we start modifying colors here, for example, the black, we make it completely red. You can see whatever is black, now it is red, right? And with this curve, we can control some really cool gradients on our materials or on whatever else that you need to use it, right? In this case, what I'm trying to do here is just make these outer edges be tinted on a different color, right? So it looks really interesting. So going back to this curve color, I want to say this is just pure red. Okay, pure red. And I don't want this middle to be white. I do not want this curve to modify any of what we've done previously. So I just want it to be black, right? Just put it here, completely black. How is that looking? I cannot see. Oh, can we preview it? There we go. We can see somewhat of a difference, but I need to lower the threshold here. So probably around here could be, maybe around here even. That could be it. So maybe so 0.6. Yeah, this. I think this is fine. Now we can see it even darker, and I think that's what we wanted. Okay, cool. So now only the edges are being modified by this red color, which should be great for us. Can we kind of try it? Plug it in on the emissive. Yeah, you can see now that the edges are way brighter. Or am I fooling myself? Just plug this in. Yep. You can see, okay, this is yellow, reddish. Okay, it looks nice. But the edges are kind of like fading, right? To black. So if we do this, okay, now suddenly they have a cooler gradient. That's perfect. So I think with this, we are done with the emissive. I think this looks good enough. Now, of course, we need to add the particle color and among other things, but you know, let's add it now. Yeah, let's do it. So particle color, and I want to multiply this by this RGB and plug it on the emissive. It's great. And now for the opacity, I want to say that we want to do it here. After everything is done, obviously, right? here, and also multiplied by a depth fade. In case this intersects geometry, it can fade out, which is great. And okay, we can just plug it here, and that's the first part of the material. We still need to make it refractive. Is that the word? Refractive? Well, we need to work on the refraction too, but we do not see it enabled here. So we need to enable it. We type refraction. Oh, sorry. Just click on the on the main and type refraction method, index of refraction. That's gonna make it look really cool. And we see this really hard edge. We have more tutorials on refraction if you want to learn step by step. I know that I'm not explaining everything here. We have our tutorials with more throughout the explanation. So just going a little bit fast here. Okay. So how do we do a good refraction, and how do we erase this really hard and annoying edge? All right, well, easy. First of all, let's grab the shape that we want for our refraction, which I think the best one is this one. Yeah, this is gonna do. This is gonna do. So we wanna bring it here probably. Here, multiply. Okay, do we wanna multiply it? I'm sorry, let me think. Yeah, you know, we wanna multiply it by our alpha. I'm gonna bring it here. Yeah, it's not gonna get in the way. Okay, we wanna bring it here, and also we wanna bring in a lerp, a linear interpolation, and this multiplication I want to plug it on the alpha, because this is the alpha that I want for my refraction. Fine. And for B, I want to put 1.5. And let's just plug in refraction. And it's not quite looking. Well, you can see the texture here, but you can definitely also see this huge line here. So on constant A, we can put 1, and then it's gone. Okay, but still, out of this, let me see. Now, on this multiply, I just want one channel. I don't want the RGB. So let's break it out. Break out 3 components. And I just want the red on the alpha. Okay, that looks cool. Now, there are some things that we still haven't added. And is the refraction working? Oh yeah, it is. You can see this square here. Okay, perfect. So first of all, we want to be able to control this refraction in our particle system, because right now, since it's not controlled, or well, since it cannot be controlled by particle color, it's not gonna be fading away, right? And also, I would like these highlights to be stronger in power, or well, in intensity when the trail starts, and then they can fade away. That's fine. So we need to control it on the particle system. Type dynamic parameter. Oh, bring it in. First parameter is gonna be intensity, and second parameter is gonna be refraction. Okay, so the intensity, it's just this one. So here, this controls the intensity, and then it can be plugged in here. And then the refraction, for this one, we probably just wanna plug it on B. If B disappears, then it should go away. There we go. Okay. Yes, you can see there is no refraction here, or very little. Okay, nice. So this is what we want. I mean, we can just say that this is 1.5 and the refraction is back, or we can make it stronger. But this is our main material our main trail material, and it's done. I think that maybe this yellow could be modified a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So maybe just taking away, I can do it by numbers, just taking away a little bit green, 0.3, and these points here. Yeah, this doesn't get in the way so much. I like this. Okay, we can close the color, and I'm wondering if we make the second material or we just go straight into the trail and try it. We should make the trail so we can see how this is turning out. Our next step is to create a blueprint and also a Niagara module. And why? And it's because if we just create an effect and just hook it here on the notifies, the trail is not going to be looking so good. We need to create 2 points and then spawn the trail between them. For that, again, blueprint and again, the module. If we're gonna go over it a little bit quickly, it's just slightly. If you want a more in-depth explanation, we have videos on that again, right? So definitely check those if you're interested. Anyway, here on Blueprint, right click, Blueprint class. We're searching for Niagara. We scroll down. What we want is a nim notify state timed Niagara effect. We select it. I'm gonna be naming it VFX Trail. And we enter it. Okay, now on functions, I want this to be on every receive notify tick. Okay, cool. Let's expand it. All right. Now from the mesh comp, I want get spawned effect. Perfect. We're going to be spawning our effect here. We plug it here. Then after, I want to say is valid. Oh, is valid with the question mark. Okay, cool. We continue it. This input is here, fine. Now, if it is valid, well, no, first, if it's not valid, I want a print string. Okay. Failure. So if it doesn't work, it's gonna say failure. And this can be here. I wanna copy, paste one on top. Okay, cool. Like that. Nothing much to do here. But if it is valid, I'm sorry. If it is valid, I wanna say from here, actually, from the Niagara effect. If you do it from here, it's not gonna spawn. Set vector parameter. This needs to be particle system, right? If you do it from here, it's gonna be another type of vector. Okay, cool. We wanna say is valid, connects here. It's great. Our target is our spawned effect, which is perfect. I wanna copy 2 of these. Another here. And remember, target needs to be the effect. So great. And now, this parameter name, we need to create it. It's gonna be named FX start trail. And this one is gonna be named FX end trail. We're creating 2 sockets. Oh, FX end trail. We're creating 2 sockets, right? And now for the sockets in here, we wanna say get socket. Oh, I typed so badly. Socket location. Perfect. And for the target, this target needs to be the mesh comp. Okay, great. Now we need to promote this variable though. So promote variable, and it's gonna be named start. We click on the I, and this the same. Get socket. Oh Lord, socket. Get. Oh my. Okay. get socket location. And same thing, the target is our mesh comp, and we promote it. We promote it to end, and we click on the eye. Perfect. So everything should be good now. This should be it. Hopefully I didn't make any drastic mistake in here. Okay, we have the blueprint where our effect is going to be hold. Yeah, whatever. We can close that now. And we can also close our trail. Let me save. Okay, there we go. Now, inside effects, I want to create our, our new module. So go on effects, script. We want a Niagara module script. We can name it Niagara module script underscore FX trail. And we enter it. So this one is simpler. I'm gonna put this here. I wanna say, I want two vectors. I type vector, and I typed it wrong, but it still worked. So vector, this is gonna be named FX start trail. Oh, sorry, I think something happened. Never mind. Vector. There we go. And this is gonna be named again FX and trail. Start trail and trail. Perfect. Okay. Now I want to find the position between 2 points. So I want to say find middle. Find midpoint between positions. Okay. And again, I explained this better on different videos, so you should check them out. All right, so we have position A for this one, and we can copy this one too for the bottom, right? And this is position B. Weight can stay right, just like that. And we have 3 variables here. We need to add them here too. Or well, we have 3 inputs. Let's say this is the ribbon facing. This is gonna be named position, and we do not want this common, we want the particle position, or you can type particle position, right? And also ribbon width, and we can just connect them, right? Length, oh, I'm sorry, here and here. And that's it for this one. I wanna expose this on my library so it appears, compile, apply, save. And there we are. The annoying part is done. We should start making our first trail. So right click, effects, Niagara system. New, we want the old and trustworthy simple sprite burst. Plus and finish. We name this effects fire trail. Well, no, sorry, not effects. Niagara system fire trail. And let's enter. This should be easy. And actually, we can test right now if it's working or not, which is always a thrill, you know? I just typed, oh, on particle spawn, I type effects, Niagara module script, FX trail. Okay. And in here, we see the end trail and the start trail. We want it to be user determined. So click on the arrow, well, here, and just say, or type user, read from user parameter, and it instantly reads here, and same user. Not this one, read from user parameter. Okay. Now we should be able to preview it on our melee attack. Hopefully nothing is wrong, because it could always be wrong. And what was the name of our blueprint? It was named FX Trail. So right click, it's here, BPFX Trail. Now, where do we want our fire to start? Probably around here. Okay, so it starts here, and it ends maybe there. Well, surely for yours it's different. We see failure because we have nothing set up here. So let's put our fire trail in. We select it, place it, and the start, that should be the bone of your hero. In my case, my hero has his weapon, and he has two sockets here, start and end. If you want to create a socket, you can just right click, add socket, and just move it around, rename it, however you want, right? However you need it. I'm just gonna be using these two. Okay, so I'm sorry, here. Start is start, and you need to type it exactly the same. Remember, there is no filling here, like in the socket name. And this is end. And this can be just on the root. So please don't fail me now. And it's failing. It's not showing anything. Oh. Okay, great. It doesn't say failure anymore, so our script is fine. Now what is missing is the whole configuration on our effects, because nothing is showing here. Well, you can see it here on top, right? But it's not following the sort. We need to erase this spawn burst instantaneous, and we need to type here on emitter update plus spawn per frame. Okay, one is just fine. So how is that looking? Is it that showing now? Yep. Now there is something showing there. And it's, well, it's following, you know? It's following and following. Okay, cool. Now we need to make more modifications to make it look trail-like, you know? So first of all, on the initialize particle, we can just say 0.5. Remember, if it dies earlier, the trail is gonna fade before it reaches the sword, right? So maybe around here could be fading already. You want a lower lifetime. Well, not often, but you kinda get it. So less lifetime, fine. Now we do not want a sprite renderer. We want a ribbon. So we delete it. Type ribbon. And how is that looking by default? Yeah, that's... At the start, it's like kind of going crazy. But the rest, it's looking fine. Can we get rid of that? It is still turning with us, as you can see. And that's not good. So why? It's because the facing mode is on screen. We do not want it on screen. We want a custom side vector that we have already applied in here. So how is that? And that's great. So now that is following our sword perfectly, right? That's looking cool. Okay, so let's test our material and see if we wasted our time or not. So we go on material, main, and our trail, and we place it here. Alright, it's looking quite cool. Not quite there yet though, but it's looking and it's looking. So what errors can we see? Well, especially the most evident one is how it's wrapping up at the end. That looks terrible. The distortion is looking mighty fancy. I really like it. Can we get a better angle? Probably here. Yeah, you can see it here, but we definitely need to tweak it a little bit or a lot. Anyways, we need to continue modifying this. And here on particle update, I want to say color. And I want to modify this through time. So I type a curve. Perfect. I don't think I want to modify the color, but what I want to modify is the opacity of it again through time. So probably I don't want this to fade, or well, finish fading at 1. If you right click on the... Oh, it's not listening to me, is it? There you go. If you right click on the square, you can set up the time. I want to say 0.8, or you can hide if you want. So now that we've set it to die before it, before it originally would, does that make sense? Now we don't see it wrapping at the end, see? And that looks way better. Okay. What we can also do is perhaps we can make it fade like this earlier too. So again, 0.8 and fade to black. Okay. We can, you know, what if we just put a little bit more red? A little stronger. Okay, that's nice. That's looking cool. We still need to do one more material, but there is also one thing that we haven't modified, and it's our dynamic parameters, remember? So first of all, our distortion is staying there for way too long, and it's just disappearing. Well, actually, since we multiplied it by the opacity, we can also see how it's starting to fade away, and that's cool. But we can definitely modify it a little bit more. So the intensity, if we just, pump it up by 3, we can see how the highlights are generally more intense, right? And it looks cool, right? Yeah, okay, that looks mighty fine. Well, although it is somewhat cutting at the end, which is not cool, but I want a curve for the intensity as well. So again, fill from curve. I want to expand this a little bit. And I want to say, you know, when it just starts, it is really intense, sure. But shortly after, it just loses its shine. And then it just is normal, right? So at 0, probably it's twice as strong. I just press F to center our line. And maybe, you know, at 0.1, it is already 1. And we can make this curve auto, so it is gentler. How is that looking? Once again. Okay, that's nice. So it starts really strong and then it fades away. I like that. I like that. But let's do the same for the refraction too. So again, curve. And this is probably gonna be like, here it is 1.5, so it is stronger. I create a new point with my middle mouse button, with my mouse wheel, and I wanna say that this is gonna stay still until 0.7, and then it just fades away. Not, well, yeah, it fades away to 0. I don't want this to be a, oh, sorry. This is 1.5. I don't want this to be a gentle curve. This, I do want it to be linear, so it fades away exactly how you want it. Now we see more distortion. That's really cool. Okay, well, I'm enjoying that. But our trail does not look complete yet. I mean, sure, we need to add some sparks to it and whatnot, but our fire trail feels a little bit incomplete. We need to have something on the background that gives it a different contrast. Right now, it may be, even if the material is looking nice and we have the speed lines there going, even if it's looking nice, we need something a little bit more complex. So let me save before I crash, and we need to make a new material. So material m underscore back trail, yeah, and it's center. And this one, I promise you, is not going to be the big deal. It's just really simple. We just want some kind of noise that fills the background of our trail. So I want to go on additive, on unlit, and of course two-sided, for trails especially. I want to bring in our noise texture, one that we haven't used yet. It's this one, noise. Okay. All right, it's looking fine. And just particle color. Okay. Let's multiply this here to here. And just emissive color straight there. And multiply this alpha by... not by this. It's just the alpha. And I want... Well, you can see the edges here, right? We should definitely mask those out. So a radial gradient. And yeah, we plug it here. Yeah, these two are fine. And we just go on the opacity. And okay, that's looking cool. That's looking nice. Although I think that adding some color will not be... I mean, some intensity will not be bad. Anyways, I want a texture coordinate. We plug it here. I want to make this smaller, so there is more repetition. So probably 4x4. Yeah, that's cool. You know, this is gonna be good enough, I think. It has highlights, it has dark areas. I think this noise is gonna be fun to watch. So let's test it out. We go on our fire trail. We just copy, paste. And here we just change it. Select our back trail. Paste it here. How is that looking? Slowly. Well, we don't see it. Oh, yeah. Oh, of course, it has the same color as this one, so you cannot see it. It has this light red feel to it. And actually, that looks kind of cool, but definitely not what we're looking for. Definitely. So for this one, we probably just make it blue, just like my previous example. So like this could be it, or maybe something dark. That could be it too. Like instead of light, could be going around here, 0.7. And this has no dynamic parameters. We can erase that. And the rest is just fine. So how is that looking? It's still too funny, too bright. So I'm thinking maybe the opacity, I just change it. Okay, you know, directly 0.4. We want a dark trail behind it, or just not liking it so much still. I feel like it adds some background color to it, but not quite as much. So we go here. What if it's just a pure blue, like that? Really strong one. That's a little bit better. Not quite though, but a little bit better. So what else can we do? Maybe the highlights of this one is getting lost in the back of the trail, although let me think. Do we just make it a little bit softer? Although it is looking nice, I'm not entirely happy with it. Can we, what if we just make it one? Let's just test it out together. Hmm. Not quite, you know? I'm not enjoying it. Maybe we go around here and make it dark, like that. You can not even notice it. I'll test two more, and then if I'm not happy with it, I can just do it on the background and then tell you what I did. So yeah, at the end I went for this color here. It's just 0.7, and I think it looks good enough. It's gonna look better with sparks and whatever. But these subtle tones I really enjoy. One more. Although actually on this back trail, this radius, no, I don't want a parameter, just 1.5. It's a little bit squarish, but let me test if adding more area makes me happier. Yeah, I think this could be the way to go. Yeah, I think so. Because 0.6 just breaks it, right? Yeah, 0.6 has hard edges here. Are they noticeable on the trail? Oh, actually, I think that's the way to go. Okay, I really like this combination. All right, so our next step is either making sparks or adding some minor details to it. Let's see. First, let's save. So for the fire sparks, or well, for the trail sparks, I was thinking we could have maybe 3 different types. One of them could be like small fire sparks that once they lose their heat, they turn to dust, right? So they gray out. That could be cool. Another one that should be one that depicts speed, and another one maybe something that gives it more volume. So that should be fun. It's always fun to play around with sparks. So let's create a trail then. I mean a new Niagara system. Let's do it. Right click, Niagara system. We want a new system, and as always, it's a simple sprite burst. We go on finish, and let's name this NS Trail Spark, or well, Fire Trail Spark. Let's open it up, and well, obviously we can work with everything here and make it look really cool, but we are not going to be able to visualize it properly unless we tie it to the animation, right? So we should do that. Let's right click, notify state, time Niagara effect, and it should be the same range as the other one. And the socket name should be in the middle of, oh, why is it saying failure? Should be small nonsense. Yeah, it's a small nothing. Weird. Anyways, these sparks should be spawning on the middle of the 2 points that we created, right? So for that, I did create a middle spark, which is, well, not exactly in the middle, but it's around there. And it looks fine, right? So I'm gonna be using this one. You can create one for you. Remember, right click, add socket, right? And this one is gonna be on middle spark. And let's paste our fire trail spark. So how is that looking? Yep, okay. At least it's showing, right? We have a lot of work to do to make them look nice enough. Okay, so first of all, I don't want this fire trail spark to be just a burst sparking, right? It should be something constant. So we can either go for spawn rate, it could also, and maybe should be a spawn per unit, right? So how is this looking so far? This we can erase this back trail and this fire trail too. They are both done. All right, so it's not appearing everywhere, and we need to solve that. So the spawn spacing is just fine, but our problem here is the max movement threshold. So the animation is a little bit too fast, and that's why it's not rendering, because our top is 5K. If we disable it, okay, cool. So now we are spawning a lot of them. And, you know, I think it's probably fine. So we will come back to this after, once we tweak the size and everything of our particle, because for now that's more important. All right, so for our lifetime, right now we are doing the emitter that is the fire that fades away and turns to ash, something like that. It's gonna look really cool, I think. So all right, for initialized particle, we want it random, so we don't always see the same pattern. Maybe 2.5 and 4 is fine, although we can't really notice that much here. Okay, it's okay. So 2.5 and 4 is fine. It's set to once, which is cool. Let's continue. We will create probably a material for this one. We can leave the color here, that's fine. The size though, we need to modify that one. We want it to be random uniform. And probably 3 and 7 is fine. Yeah, so something like that, I think it's going to be cool. Okay, right now it looks so squarish and terrible, but it's okay, don't worry, we're gonna make it look nice. So after that, we want to, well, we don't want them to spawn on this single line, right? We want to make a range, so it looks even more organic, right? I wonder if organic is the right word for that, but you get me, right? So shape location. And how is this sphere looking? Okay, that's already way better than the square one, right? If we put 10, that is way better, but probably not what we want. Although maybe. Let's leave that there for now. We may need a box. We shall see. Anyways, we should add some velocity to it though. So it should be on the spawn. It's the very first velocity, because if we add a force, it's going to take time until that force moves, right? Because it's... I better show you. So if we type force, let's add a cool curl noise effect. And let's make it really exaggerated, like 500. So, okay, that is looking fine, but there is a moment at the start where nothing happens, you see? So it kind of takes time. And of course that we can just pump up the value to K. And it's still not quite there. So let's first add some basic velocity to this, that it's not, well, it's not that it needs to be strong, but velocity, it needs to set up the motion for our sparks. So I'm thinking, okay, this is local, this is fine. What does 50 do to us here? Okay, it goes backwards, but we want something that, well, if we had something magical, then maybe this could be cool. But this is a fire trail that is supposed to be a really strong hit, right? So let's do the opposite, minus 50. Yeah, I think that motion is gonna work better for us. And once we pump up some other numbers, maybe you will be able to see how this was the right call. Okay, but I know that this motion is fine. What about Y? 500. Okay, well, definitely we want the sparks going that way. Probably not that strong, but although probably that's strong, but we put some drag to it. For now, let's say uniform. Random range uniform, and definitely minus 50 here, because that's the motion that we want. And what, 500 and minus 100 maybe? This I can put on 0. So how is that? Okay, that's looking cool. And again, it's too strong outwards. And also inwards, it looks a little bit too magical. But I think once with the, with the drag and other things, it's gonna be fine. Okay, we're done with the spawn. So we should go on the particle update. There are plenty of things that we can do here. Like for example, we another way to make it more, to make it look cooler is make the spark size be affected by time, right? Right now it's the same size all the time. And maybe we can play around with it and make it look cool, you know? So let's do that first. Let's go on scale sprite size and we enter here. Remember that you can press F to line up the timeline if it goes too big. Okay, so when it starts, I want it on 0. That's fine. But I want the sprite to quickly grow. So probably on 0.1, it can be 1. And then I want it to just grow smaller by time, right? So when it dies, probably it can be just 0.1. And around, let's see how this looks actually. So sure, we see it growing and then shrinking. Perhaps they shrink way too slow. I mean, maybe they shrink way too slow. I think that we can take a closer look at this once we have other forces set up. But for now, I think this is looking nice. Yeah, I think for now this, or actually, I'm being too doubtful. Let's just do it, you know? So I want this particle to stay on this size, on this 1, for like 0.1 second more. So 0.2, I still want it to be 1, right? Because if we put another value, a deeper here, we create a downline, right? So it's gonna get smaller. I want it to remain this size for 0.1 seconds more. And then on 0.3, it can start going drastically down. I don't think we need to make this a curve. This should be fine. Okay, let's see it. So it stays and then it goes down. And it is way more aggressive. Okay, this can actually look really cool. All right, that's fine. Now, let's just play around with the curl noise a little bit. Curl noise force. This is always such a good time to play with. I'm going to increase the noise frequency so it's noisier, and this noise strength. Again, we talked how we want this to be wild sparks that are coming out of this slash and then they turn to ash, right? Like then they fade away. So this noise strength, I would like it to make a curve so we can modify late at its, late on its lifetime. I want them to just fade away, right? So when it spawns, when it's the strongest, 1K, I press F to center it up, and I want to create another line, and I want to say on 0.6, I want this to die already. Or well, maybe it shouldn't have created another one, maybe just modifying this one, but it's fine. How is that looking? Well, we do need the drag to keep it in place, otherwise it's a little bit harder to preview it. So for now, I think let's just leave it like this. It's fine. And once we bring in drag and gravital force, we can keep modifying it. So far, I think it's looking interesting. So let's continue. Let's add a drag. And this one, I do not want to modify it through time. I just want it to be constant. Something strong, like a 10. Let's see. Well, I think drag is just what we needed. So this is exactly what I wanted. So I want them wild at the start, and then they can fade away. That's cool. Okay, but it does not look complete. Like when it starts to fade away and turns gray, I want them to fall or will be taken by the wind. We can either bring a wind module, or we can maybe just work with gravity, you know? Yeah, I mean, let's just do gravity. So gravity force. And I want this to be a curve because I don't want the gravity to affect our sparks at the start, just at the end. I want to isolate C. I just want a power on my C. And when it starts, this should be 0. That is fine. But I want it to remain 0 until maybe 0.2. And then once from that, we can say 0.3, it's minus 600. And I don't think that we should make it a curve either. Oh, this we can just erase. This ends on 0.3. So how is that? Okay, so, and then it falls. That's fine. 0.3 minus 600. Maybe this should be 0.1, so they fall earlier. It's just details, right? Yeah, this looks better. All right, that's pretty cool. Now, with a better material, this is going to look way better, because right now, probably you cannot visualize it, and it's not helping me so much right now. So let's make a cool material, but I think the behavior is exactly what we were looking for. And we open up our content drawer. Let's go on material, and let's do m underscore fire spark, because everything's fire. All right, and for this one, I want this to be translucent and also unlit, and obviously two-sided. So what are we trying to make here? Why can't we just do this sprite? So I want a spark that has a smaller, stronger core and then some color to fade away, right? Not something so, well, I don't know the word, but not something so strong like this, right? With such much density, maybe? Okay, whatever. So let's do it. Let's create two radial gradients. Radial gradient. Let's copy it and paste it. We're going to be adding these two together. So we can just add and just preview it like this. So right now, nothing, right? It's just two gradients exactly the same added on top of each other. Okay, cool. So let's create two constant, holding one and left click. I'm gonna copy them. And this first gradient, let's say this radius is gonna be 0.5. And the density, this one is gonna be also 0.5. And well, there's no way to really preview what is happening. So I'm just gonna be, you don't need to do this. I just wanna preview it like this, okay? Because sometimes I get some stuff mixed up with the density and whatever. Okay, so this is the fade. It's looking cool, okay? So now radius, this one is gonna be way smaller, as you can see here, nice. And the density is probably gonna be slightly more dense. And this is what we wanted. I mean, you could say, but it looks similar to this default sprite material. Well, hold on, you're gonna watch it. Or well, just you wait. Just you wait. So I want to make this outer curve a different color than the middle one. You remember how we did that with the other material? Well, we need a curve, right? And we can just pick our, okay, we're just gonna pick this one. I mean, it's fine. I just double click this And we need to main color. I'm gonna duplicate this one. Curve color 2, fine. Remember that you need to add it, otherwise you cannot use it. So curve color 02, it's added here, great. We save it. I exit this, and we will use the curve color 02. Okay, that's fine. So for now, let's just add it and see how it is looking. So how do we add it, remember? Let's just go back here. We can just add it here with the curve time. And, you know, let's just preview it and see what happens. Okay, so I wanna bring this here. Is it gonna be enough? Yeah, this is enough. Okay, so remember, this is 1 and this is 0. Or actually, this is 0.7. I'm just gonna put it on 1. There we go. You can see how this... oh, this is so annoying. Never mind. So if we bring it closer, you can see how we can control both of those colors, right? So what I'm gonna do is probably just... I wanna put a soft color around here. Maybe something like this. And the middle, I want it to be really bright. Something like that, maybe. We can try colors anyway. This looks awful right now. But if we also go and say that this is our opacity, yeah, you can kind of see where this is going, right? Although, again, that is not looking good. At least to me, I don't really enjoy it. So we need to modify it. Oh, where is my... Hold on. There we go. Okay, so we have this purple, and I wanna make it deep like that, maybe 0.1, and bring it here. Probably that's good. We'll see. And this one, I wanna make it bright, so probably a 3 for emissive. You can kind of see how this is looking already. Probably this is good enough. We should try it. We should definitely try it though. So let's make it interact with our particles. So particle color, and let's multiply it here and here. This is our color. And then here and this one, this is our opacity. Okay. Again, maybe these colors do not match our trail, but we shall see. So our fire spark, let's add it. Let's wait for it to load, and how is that looking? One more. It is incredibly faint, you see? Okay, we can always make it brighter though. Could be on the particle or could be also on the material. But let's see. So what if we just put a 2 here? We're making it slightly, well, not slightly, but we're making it redder and also emissive. How is that? It is way too small. So, well, we have two choices. We can just scale it, or we can just keep working on the material so it looks better, because I'm not really convinced yet, you know? I'm not really convinced. So let's see. Let's open this up. And sure, this is 3, but maybe around here, a little bit brighter. Could be cool. Maybe there. And this one, probably around here. I think that looks good. Let's keep watching and see. Do we make them bigger? I wonder. So let me see. This should be fine. Maybe on the scale sprite size we can do something. Let me think. Let's just try, I guess. So it grows to 2 and it stays on 2. How is it looking? I think it's looking fine. But now you may ask, so cool, now it's red? Well, we could make it stronger red, although I really like the tones of these sparks. But I mean, we'll see after. But there's a question now. So our color is just shaped as white because our material already has this type of color. How can we make it go fade to white? Right? Because if you make this white, it's not going to follow, right? Because our material is already of a color. So again, dynamic materials. Oh well, dynamic parameters. Dynamic parameter, and this color here, we want to desaturate it. And our constant is gonna be here and here. This parameter is gonna be named desaturation, and I'm gonna leave it on 0 so it doesn't bother me so much. And let's bring in a dynamic parameter. That's it, desaturation. So we want that to be a curve, right? Because we don't want it at the start to be white. So let's make it a curve. All right. And I wanna say at the start it's 0, obviously, because we want some color. Then at point 1, it's still 0, but then from there it grows. So we create another point, 0.151, maybe that's good. And it doesn't fade away, just like that. So it's rather quick, but our particles don't live for too long, so maybe, let's see. Too slow-mo again. Yeah, I mean something like that, but I feel like they grow too small, too fast. Okay, definitely. So scale sprite size, both of these dudes, just 1. And in here we definitely need to make it grow. So 12 and 6, maybe that's too much. Yeah, something like that. Well, that looks pretty cool. We definitely need more sparks though. Definitely. So we should check that. And also, well, 2. Let's do it. Oh, well, that's way too many now. It's looking cool though. You can see how they fall there. But when they fall, they may be way too small. We need to change that. Okay, so I regret now putting this so big. What were the previous values? It was 7 here, but maybe 8, maybe 4. How is that? Okay, that's looking better. I'm enjoying that. Let's not make them fade away like that though. They're gonna fade away too. 0.4 seems too much. 0.7? Yeah, that looks cool. I mean, I want some kind of how do you say it? Reminder? No. Something that remains here after something big has happened, right? Like this slash. Maybe they're falling too fast, so we need to change that. Not 600, minus 400 maybe. Yeah, that's way better. So, okay, fine. How is it looking though? Is it too big? Is it too squarish? I think this is looking good. I mean, at the end, once we add the 3 layers, if we see that it's too small or the intensity is too soft, we can just modify it, right? But for now, I think this is a good first spark. We should definitely move on to the second one though. So let's go here. All right, so let's close our fire spark. And yeah, let's make one from scratch. So right click, add emitter. Let's do a simple sprite burst. And again, this one, well, the first one was a spark that remained. This second one is gonna be a spark that doesn't stay for too long, but depicts a lot of power and gives the trail a little bit more velocity, you know? It's gonna be fun. So anyways, let's say not spawn burst instantaneous. We want spawn per unit. We remove this cap. And I don't want so many as before. Okay, I guess that's fine. Alright, so for the particle. Again, this doesn't live for too long. So maybe 0.2 and 0.5. I want to make this a bright red color, since we probably won't be making a material for this one. So just really bright. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Now the size, again, random uniform, or let me think. Just uniform for now. Okay, 15. Yeah, something like that. Doesn't live for too long. Cool. Nice. So let's add some velocity to this. Velocity. Without double C, please. Thank you. And this one, what? 1K, or 1K, where was that direction? Outside, perfect. So probably just 400. And this is, where? Okay. This is outside. So maybe we do the contrary here. Yeah, sort of like that. Okay, cool. Cool. Let's continue though. Okay, local, everything's cool with that. I want some kind of acceleration force to this. So on the particle update, and let's accelerate it by, what, 500? Okay, cool. And what about this one? 500 again? I just want to test the directions. Maybe minus 500. I want them down. Yeah. Okay, sort of like this. We should be adding some sprite size by life so we can kind of preview it better. That way we don't make many mistakes here. So alignment, velocity, and custom facing vector. Great. Now let's add scale sprite size by speed. Perfect. All right, so if we put 0.2, maybe 2, 0.2 and 2. How is that? Yeah, I mean, something like that. If you preview it fast, it just goes all over, huh? Yeah, something around there. Okay, we can continue with that then. I'm pretty sure that we need to modify a curve here so we can make it look better, but well, for now it's gonna have to do. Right now it's bothering me so much that it's on a straight line, so let's add a shape location for this one. Shape location. What about a sphere? It looks cool, I guess, but I wanna add a box for this one. Nothing on X, and the rest should be okay. Yep, that gives it a cool motion, I believe. Try it one more time. Yeah, I think we're getting somewhere. It still needs so much work, but we're slowly getting somewhere. So we have an acceleration force, and we should probably have something that pushes the particle down a little bit. So again, it's gravity. And this is too much. Maybe 300. How is this looking? Yeah, you can kind of see what we want to do with this right now. Nice. Although the shape is not so flattering. How is it looking fast? I mean, yeah, it looks cool. Not quite there, yo, but it definitely adds some power to the slash, which is good. Okay, we need to keep working on it. Keep working and keep working and keep working. Again, we need to add some drag, as always. So drag. Let's make it strong, like 3. Well, not that strong, huh? Is this a bug? How is it breaking on those straight lines? I'm pretty sure that I need to restart Unreal. Because if we play it at slow-mo, that's looking way better. Okay, let's continue. So probably I want to modify this this size, because I would like them to be a little bit animated as we work with them, or well, as they live, right? So probably on X this just stays at 0.2. Let me think. I'm just gonna be modifying the minimum scale factor, I think. So curve, and on X I just want them to stay at 0.2 and never move from there. Otherwise the spark is gonna look too pointy and probably too annoying. So for Y we do need to make some work. So probably when it spawns, we just want it at 0, 0, 0. Then on 0.1, as it starts leaving, we bump it to 3. Then we make it fall slowly, or no, just 3 is fine, I think. It remains on 3 until 0.4. And then it fades away on 1 to what? To 1 maybe? Let's try it. I don't feel the difference so much. Let's make this a curve though. Can we feel the difference now? Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of cool, but can we lower it down to 1.5 there? Why do I feel like it's not working? Okay, 10. Or is it just too subtle and I'm trying to bite too much? Yeah, it is working, but I'm trying to bite too much, I think. This modification should be just fine. It's really subtle, but I guess that we did it anyway. Okay, that looks cool. And I think that we are done with it. I mean, velocity aligned. We have drag to slow it down. Gravity goes down. Acceleration force, which is maybe... Oh, okay. I know. On the acceleration force, let's add some variation to it. Right now they're not similar, or well, they're not together really tightly, but I think if we add some variation here, it could make a cool effect. So 500 as it was, minus 500. Was that it? I hope so. Okay, that gives it more motion. I enjoy that one. So some are not being launched as far. Sometimes it kind of bugs, but hopefully in your computer it's fine. I just need to restart, I think. Yeah, those straight lines are just a small bug, don't worry. But this is looking mighty fine. So how is it looking over there? Yeah, cool. So I don't want these sparks to get in the way of the main effect though. That's the most important thing. That's why I'm not making them be too intense or too big, you know? Because the main focus is the material that we worked on, right? This cool trail. And we could even make it bigger with different sockets. I think it will be actually cooler. But for now it's gonna have to do. And maybe, you know, maybe we add a different material to this. Could it make them look better? I wonder. Let's make a new material and see if it helps these sparks. Although I'm seeing that they look fine right now. They could be thinner. That's definitely it though. They could be thinner and on scale sprite size by speed. I wanna drag this here though. Or okay, this is fine. Let's make them thinner. So not 0.2, 0.1. Is that too thin though? We shall see. 0.1. I feel that's better. If you wanna make them even thinner, you can just make this non-uniform and then play with that. But I think this is fine. Let's make a really simple material and see if it helps the shape. Although maybe it's not necessary, but let's test it out. So right click, material, M underscore, let's name it speed line and let's enter. Here. Let's try not to make this overkill. So let's go additive and unlit, two-sided. Let's bring in this texture, fire. It could be a mistake, but let's have fun with it and see what happens. So let's add some distortion to this fire. Let's say that it's our good and usual noise speed. Let's bring in and usual distortion for this. Remember, just a panner. We hook it in. Let's say this is 0.5 and the texture coordinate for this one. We don't want to make it thinner actually. Maybe we need to make it thicker. So on B, 0.5. Cool. Let's make it less intense and as usual add it to a texture coordinate. And that's it. Oh, it's kinda broken. Why though? Or is it a bug? Because that happens sometimes. No, it's not a bug. I've done something. Oh, right. I copied this one. Okay. There we go. Nice. So now the usual, we just want to leave it there. So particle color. Like that. And we just plug this directly. And the opacity is going to be this one. Although I'm seeing some harsh edges around here, so maybe let's just multiply it by a radial. Okay, that's better, I think. Although maybe too much, huh? Radius 0.5, 0.7 or 0.6, 7. Yeah, 0.6. I think this is okay. And let's add it here and see if we are breaking it too much. How is it looking? You cannot even tell the shape, although The bottom is a little bit thicker, so I guess that it looks better. Definitely the distortion does not work. It's too small to see it. Yeah, I mean, like this. We're not spawning too many, so it's not that big of a deal anyway. Yeah, I think this has a softer shape, but if you don't use this material, it's gonna look almost the same. Yeah. Okay, anyways, we should move on, and this is our last spark. But let's first watch this. So these small sparks, if we are playing third person, they may be taking too long to fade to dust. But I mean, you can modify that if you feel that in your game anyway. But let's continue. So now what I want to add is something extremely simple that gives it the trail more shape, more that makes it look a little bit more full, right? So let's try that. And actually, for that, I may need this material actually. Speedline distort. I know that we should have made a material instance, but you know it's done. Okay, apply. All right. So our next module is going to be extremely simple. So just emitter, spread burst. Let's do the usual, which is spawn per unit. We erase this. And let's add our material. Speed distort. Great. And let me think. So this spawn per unit, this needs to be really soft, really scarce. So probably 50, so it doesn't spawn much. How is that looking? Oh, of course. Yeah, something like that. Not that many spawns. Okay, cool. And let me think. So for the particle, let's say they all last 0.3. We don't want any variation there, because these hard shapes, we're not gonna really look at them. The color now, though, I want this to be like something blue, but something really faint, something like that, something around there. So how is that looking? Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm going for. See, it's just accompanying the trail. Okay, let's make it look better though. So shape, because they are too straight, and this shape probably just something smaller. And I don't think that we need to modify anything else. So how is it looking? I'm not enjoying this too much. So yeah, it's making it a little bit fuller, cool. It gives it more depth. You can see that they spawn out of nowhere. The color just appears so fast. Again. Yeah, this is not enjoyable. So for the scale color, let's say at 0, it is 0. And at 0.1, it is 1. That's gonna help it shape better. It's gonna look better for sure. Okay, here. And let's make them bigger, because yeah, that's not cool. And something is going on here, I think. Yeah, our trail is looking not cool sometimes. It's my computer again. Okay, so they are bigger, and that's looking way better now. So the tones, the blue tones of our trail are really matching really well with these new sparks. We could even make them bigger and maybe spawn less of them. Okay, that's looking cool. So I want to save, and I want to see how all of this looks on the map. So let's bring it to our map. Let's simulate and see what is happening. All right, so the distortion is amazing. I really enjoy it. And the slash looks really powerful. So we could even increase those fast sparks and the small ones. I think they're also looking fine. So alright guys, that was it. Let me know if you enjoyed the tutorial and if you are gonna use it for your game. I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun. So I'll see you on the next tutorial, which is probably gonna be environment art or something like that. See you.